During World War II, soldiers faced not just enemy fire, but brutal weather. Standard-issue canvas tents, designed for portability, often failed in extreme conditions. Fierce winds shredded the fabric, rain soaked through, and heavy snow collapsed the flimsy structures. A failed tent meant exposure to the elements, risking frostbite, hypothermia, and exhaustion. Imagine a soldier, desperate for rest, only to have his shelter collapse in a storm. The equipment meant to protect them simply couldn't withstand the harsh environments. Soldiers quickly realized survival required more than what they were issued. They had to innovate, drawing inspiration from nature and ancient building techniques. Observing how trees and old structures survive storms, they sought a stronger, more resilient shelter. The answer wasn't new technology, but a return to a basic engineering principle. This simple trick would transform their shelters from fragile to fortress-like. It was a lesson in adaptation, using what was available to create real protection. The soldiers' ingenuity would outlast the war, becoming a vital survival skill. Their solution was simple, effective, and changed the way they faced the elements. This is the story of how a basic idea became a lifesaver on the battlefield. The soldiers' solution was the A-frame shelter, an ancient, reliable design shaped like the letter A. Using long poles, rope, and whatever materials were at hand, they built sturdy frames. 2 poles crossed at the top formed an X, with a ridgepole connecting them. This skeleton was far stronger than standard tent poles, distributing weight and pressure evenly. Canvas, or shelter halves, draped over the ridgepole, created steep, sloping sides. The steep angle let rain and snow slide off, preventing collapse. Wind flowed over the angled surfaces rather than battering flat walls. The A-frame worked with nature, not against it. Soldiers could build one quickly, adapting the design to whatever materials they found. The structure was low to the ground, stable, and easy to reinforce. No longer at the mercy of the weather, soldiers finally had a safe place to rest. The A-frame was a game-changer, simple, strong, and effective. It turned basic materials into a fortress against the storm. This trick, born of necessity, became a cornerstone of survival. Sometimes the simplest ideas are the most powerful. The secret behind the A-frame's strength is the triangle. Unlike squares or rectangles, triangles are rigid, push on one side, and the shape holds. This is why triangles form the backbone of bridges and cranes. Each end of the A-frame is a stable triangle, with the ground as its base. When wind hits, the force is spread through the whole structure, not just one weak point. Soldiers made their shelters even stronger by adding cross-bracing, diagonal poles that created more triangles. This web of triangles locked the frame in place, preventing twisting or collapse. Think of a simple gate. Add a diagonal brace, and it becomes solid. The same principle made battlefield shelters resilient. The network of triangles let the shelter flex under pressure without breaking. Forces from wind and snow were channeled safely into the ground. Soldiers didn't need to know engineering terms, they saw the results firsthand. By lashing a few poles into triangles, they built structures far stronger than their parts. It was practical physics learned in the harshest classroom. The triangle's strength turned improvised shelters into safe havens. Sometimes survival is just a matter of geometry. The A-frame's genius was its adaptability. Soldiers built them anywhere, using whatever the environment provided. In the Aleutian Islands, driftwood washed ashore became sturdy frames. In Italy's forests, chestnut and oak poles were cut for construction. In Asia, bamboo, light, strong, and straight, was ideal. Soldiers learned from locals, mastering new materials wherever they went. They didn't need to carry heavy supplies, just the knowledge of how to build. The landscape became their hardware store, and the A-frame, their blueprint. Survival meant seeing the world as a source of solutions. A shelter is only as strong as its foundation. Soldiers anchored their A-frames by digging holes for the poles and packing them with dirt and rocks. In soft ground, they dug deeper. In rocky terrain, they used heavy stones as anchors. Guy lines, ropes tied to stakes or rocks, added extra stability, holding the shelter down in high winds. These anchoring tricks made the shelter feel rooted, not just placed on the ground. Even in the worst storms, their shelters stayed put. The key was locking the structure to the earth itself. A strong base turned a simple frame into a true refuge. The A-frame shelter isn't just a wartime relic, it's a timeless survival skill. Modern campers, hikers and survivalists still rely on this design for its strength and simplicity. If a tent fails, knowing how to build an A-frame can be life-saving. The same principles work for homesteaders. A-frames become sheds, greenhouses or animal shelters. The design is scalable, durable and easy to adapt. It's a lesson in practical engineering, using what's around you to create safety. In a world of high-tech gear, the A-frame proves that simple solutions endure. Sometimes the best tools are the ones you build yourself. The WWII shelter trick is more than a survival story. It's a lesson in simple engineering. Ordinary soldiers, not engineers, found strength in basic principles. Triangles, anchored bases and angled roofs. The A-frame wasn't a product, but a process, a skill passed from one person to another. Materials came from the land and returned to it, making the design sustainable. The A-frame's enduring relevance shows the value of understanding how things work. High-tech gear can fail, but good design respects the laws of nature. The A-frame is humble but brilliant, proof that knowledge is the ultimate tool. With a few materials and a little know-how, anyone can build safety and comfort. The strongest structures are built on simple, smart design. The lesson endures. Sometimes the simplest ideas are the ones that save lives.